Maymunah bint Al Harith, may Allah be pleased with her, married the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, when he was 60 years old and she was 36 years old. Maymunah was also known as Bara, and she yearned to marry the Prophet. She went to her sister Al-Fadl to talk to her about that, and she in turn spoke to her husband Al-Abbas. Al-Abbas immediately went to the messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, with Maymunah's offer to marry him. Her proposal was accepted. When she heard the good news, she was riding a camel, and she immediately got off and said, "The camel and what is on it is for the messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him." They were married in the month of Shawwal in 7 after Hijrah. Allah the Almighty revealed the following verse about this. Any believing woman who dedicates herself to the Prophet, if the Prophet wishes to wed her, that is only for thee and not for the believers. The Prophet gave her the name Maymunah, meaning blessed, and she lived with him for just over 3 years until his death. She was obviously very good-natured and got on well with everyone. She never had any quarrel or disagreement with any of the Prophet's other wives. Aisha said about her, "Among us, she had the most fear of Allah and did the most to maintain ties of kinship." It was in her room that the Prophet first began to feel the effects of what was to be his final illness. He asked the permission of his wives to stay in Aisha's room until he breathed his last. After the Prophet's death, peace and blessings be upon him, Maymunah continued to live in Medina for another 40 years. She died at the age of 80, in 51 after Hijrah. She was the last of the Prophet's wives to die. She asked to be buried where she had married the Prophet, at Saraf, and her request was granted. Some important points about the life of Maymunah al-Hilaliyah. Maymunah al-Hilaliyah was married twice before she married the Prophet. She was known to be a very pious woman. In the battlefield, she used to nurse the wounded. She was the first woman to establish an organization of women